Welcome to our first and maybe only episode of Creamies and Questions. So we put out some questions on Instagram for you guys, and we figured while we sit here and eat our half-melted Ninja Creamies, because traveling with frozen Creamies is not ideal. The cooler does not keep them super frozen, but it beats the heck out of a protein shake. So we've got a bunch of questions.
Yes.
You're going to read us, and then we're going to answer them.
Yep.
While we eat our Ninja Creamy. First off, while you're getting your questions out, let's talk about flavors. This is the raw glazed donut flavor with some salted caramel sugar-free syrup in it. Absolutely smacks. Like
So
10 out of 10, recommend.
Ooh.
Delicious. You're doing dark chocolate, raw and glazed donut. How's that? That's your first time with that flavor?
It's my first time, and I like it. But my favorite is the raw birthday cake.
Okay, the bum birthday
mixed
cake.
with
Dark chocolate?
raw dark chocolate. That combination with that caramel sauce that we have
Nice.
tastes like birthday cake remix from Cold Stone.
Okay. Oh, love Cold Stone. In the comments below, let us know your favorite ice cream. I think Cold Stone, hands down, best ice cream on the planet. If I'm going store-bought, I like Ben & Jerry's or Jenny's. But if I'm going out for ice cream, Cold Stone, banana caramel crunch, extra almonds. Oh, so good.
I have to say, I'm like a kid flavor person for sure. Like, I like to go and have like brownies and cookies and Rice Krispie treats. So when I go to Cold Stone, I like birthday cake remix, and it's just life-changing.
Delicious.
So.
All right, ask some questions.
Okay, we're gonna start very basic with some of the questions, like just to kind of generally. So what show are we doing?
We are doing Summer Shredding, Houston. Lauren is doing the Summer Shredding Houston qualifier. I am doing the Summer Shredding Championship, which is also in Houston the next day. And hopefully Lauren is going to qualify as well, and she'll be competing on Sunday also.
Okay, and obviously our show is in Houston. That was another question.
Houston, Texas.
Okay, so this one's kind of fun. What is your favorite prep food? Like, what's been your favorite food on prep?
I would say probably oatmeal. I love oatmeal, and that like brings me joy right now. So my oatmeal, it's got some protein powder, some egg white, some nut butter. It's delicious. And then my second favorite is my Creami.
Yeah.
And the Creami honestly might be my favorite now that I think about it, but the oatmeal is more filling, and it like really helps me get through the day.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. But how do you like not enjoy your oatmeal? It's super filling. It's the most carbs personally I get all day, so it just is like, it gives you that like happy, warm, fuzzy hug on the inside when you eat it. And the Creami honestly just helps me feel like I've had some sort of like happiness food, like a serotonin release, kind of like you're eating something bad, but you're not. And it's just kind of like that thing that you like look forward to like the end of the day, I feel like. Okay, so tagging onto food, what's your current post-show food want?
Well, I'll let you go first. I keep answering all the questions first.
I feel like it changes. It can even change from like day to day, but initially, a couple weeks like deeper into prep, I was really craving a Jimmy John's sub, just random, but that's really like the one thing that I was like wanting. And now, I still feel like it's a sub. I mean, there's so many things. I mean, then there's like, oh, I would love to just go to Chick-fil-A and like get a salad. That sounds cheesy, but I don't know.
Mine, I've wanted pizza this entire prep. I love pizza. Pizza is like one of my favorite things ever. So pizza is definitely a big one. And then, this is gonna sound bad. I used to not be a sweets person. Like, that wasn't my go-to. Like, I was more salty food. But ever since doing bodybuilding, I guess you're so deprived of like good food that I've refound a love for sweets, and I just want some freaking Parlor Donuts. And if you have a Parlor Donuts by where you live and you're not going there, you're seriously missing out. They're like a croissant donut. They're so good.
And the flavors right now look so crazy.
Yeah, and I also want to try crumble cookie. I've never tried crumble before. And they came out with a banana cream pie the other week, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, I love banana pudding.
I feel like they could possibly be the Dunkin' Donuts of cookies.
They might be.
Dunkin' Donuts is just too much on the inside. Like, Krispy Kreme is like thinner and sweeter and more doughy.
I mean, crumble cookie could be absolute trash. I've never had it before.
But it just looks like it's too thick. I love a cookie that's undercooked, so I don't think that's gonna be for me.
Best cookies I've ever had, Matheson's, Key West or Nashville. You can get them shipped to your house. Last show we had...
They're as big as your head. Literally this big.
They're bigger than that.
You think they're bigger?
Yeah. We had like 20 shipped in last show. Terrible decision. Big mistake.
If family is watching this, we do not want those cookies for post show.
I found myself at the freezer at nighttime, just getting in there and sneaking a little bite. So good. All right, next question.
Oh yeah, questions, okay. All right, okay. Okay, what's been the hardest part of prep for you? Like, what's the hardest part? I guess there could be multiple parts or like...
I feel like this prep, probably the hardest part for me is the pressure that I'm putting on myself. Like, I feel like going into the Tampa show, I had expectations that I could win, but I really didn't know what I was getting into. I had never competed before, and now having won that show, been following the stories of the other people who are competing against me, I almost feel like this is like a win or bust type situation. And obviously if I don't win, I'm not a loser. But in the same sense, I've put so much effort into this that I really, really, really want to win. And so that's kind of been the hardest part, is that mental battle of like, I want to win. I feel like I have a great shot at winning. I feel like I've put in so much work, but yet I'm also just starting on my bodybuilding journey, and I know I have so much more potential. And the one thing that I've learned about fitness and bodybuilding and all that stuff is you can't cheat time. Like, there's no shortcut besides just time. Like, compounding effort and time for years is what makes people have crazy physiques. So that's probably been the hardest part. And then obviously, like, diet is always the worst part about prep. I enjoy the workouts. I don't mind cardio. I do not enjoy eating 1,500 calories a day. What's your answer?
Okay. I've already finished my Creami.
You started before.
It goes fast. I did start. Oh man. Okay, so obviously this is my first prep, and first of all, it's just I'm constantly freezing. The hardest part for me is when I think about like my day to day, like what's my hardest task to finish. I don't think that like the water's easy, sleeping is really easy for me.
Oh, I'm terrible at sleeping, but
yeah, like I look forward, I sleep really well, water's easy. Diet hasn't been horrible. I just do not deal well.
That's all I've heard about.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I just like don't do well with like low food and hunger. But it's not that like the
Lauren
actual
gets angry.
the actual food I'm eating is bad. I feel satisfied with the actual food, just not the amount, but then it's like, I get hangry and I just get frustrated very easily. And I tend to be one that does not suppress how I feel. I'm very like vocal with my people about how I feel. So that to some that may sound like complaining. To me, it's just stating the obvious and how I feel. So it's just a matter of how you look at it. Okay. So that's probably the hardest part for me is to kind of put it into words. I feel like my journey in health and fitness has always been geared towards like feeling your best, and that's what was my biggest motivator, was how great I felt. And so that made me feel motivated to keep going because I felt energetic and I felt like I felt good. Whereas I feel like with bodybuilding, there reached a certain point in my prep where I no longer felt good. I didn't feel like I was fueling my body for the amount of effort and workout that I was putting in. And so to me, it felt hard to feel motivated at that point.
Yeah, bodybuilding, once you get down, probably about 4 weeks out is when I feel like it really starts to get real. Kind of the philosophy is the worse you feel, the better you look. So obviously getting to a extremely lean body fat percentage is not healthy, and so you're gonna feel terrible. So I can see that it definitely does not equate with health and fitness and feeling great and energy and all that stuff. It definitely is more draining, exhausting. You just feel like crap. You just want to sleep, and we are extremely busy people. We're filming this in a hotel right now because we're 2 weeks out tomorrow.
Well, it's the only time we have our kids right now, too.
And we're traveling for 212 for an event. So
yeah,
it's one of those things that, hey, this is what we choose to do, and you got to suck it up and do it.
Yeah.
Next question.
Okay. Are we gonna...
Sure.
Do you want to hit that? Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So this question was kind of interesting, but what would you say your sex drive is on prep?
Well, to start, my poor wife. I have an extremely high sex drive to begin with. So I would say for the first 10 weeks of prep, it was chugging along. The last week, calories got dropped by 500 a day. So I was pretty much eating 2,000 calories, and then he dropped me to 1,550. And I will say that my sex drive has gone down significantly, which is probably making Lauren extremely happy. So.
Okay.
That question is for you as well.
I feel like, yeah, I mean, it was great prior to, and then obviously on prep, it's just, you just don't have any more energy, Yeah. It's just, you're just trying to get through your day. But I think most people would be you guys must feel great because you look so good, and it's we look fantastic. Yes, I don't want to keep my hands off of him. He looks amazing, okay. But also we're just tired.
But also you're I just want to eat and go to bed.
Yes, because as soon as you eat, you barely even get that satisfaction feeling, but it doesn't fuel you for very long, So.
Sure. All right. Well.
Okay.
There you go.
There's your answer to that. Currently, how low are your macros? So.
Mine are. Let me
I know. I was I always have to look at them. So let's see.
My macros.
So I'm exactly 2 weeks out. Oh my gosh, it'll be 2 weeks.
Tomorrow.
Well, yeah.
Tomorrow, you're 2 weeks out.
Okay.
We're filming this on a Friday, October the 6th. You guys will probably see this on Monday. So.
Oh, nice.
2 weeks out. I am. My macros are set at 1520. I'm at 215 grams of protein, 75 grams of carbs, and 40 grams of fat. I am 6'2", 203 pounds. I do not recommend this for anyone. Terrible.
Yes. Same. That's so crazy to think about. Okay, so I'm 2 weeks out, and I am currently at 113 pounds, and I'm 5'3". So I'm currently at, my macros are, for calorie wise, I'm at 1115. My protein is at 135. Carbs are 65 and fats are 35.
Now I want you guys to listen to that because
Ours are actually kind of
she complains
so
about
close.
food. Her carbs are set at 65, mine are 75. Her fats are at 35, mine are at 40. The only difference is protein, and we all know protein ain't the good stuff that makes you feel great. Everybody wants a little more carbs, right? Everybody wants a little more fat. So it is what it is. This is just what happens. You, I think, were on a more extreme cut at the beginning just because Jess didn't know how your body was going to respond. And
yes.
So I feel like you've been ready. Like, you're already pretty much stage ready, and you've been pretty much stage ready for the last, 2 weeks. So
like I could have done, a shorter prep?
Well, it's just like your macros haven't really changed a whole lot.
Right.
Mine started way higher. We started me off at 2,700 and then slowly came down. And then at the 3-week mark, Jess really just dropped the hammer. It was like, all right, it's time. We got to start really hammering down.
Yeah.
And so my calories got slashed. When we first started prep, I was eating 270 grams of protein, probably closer to 200 carbs and 70 grams of fat. And honestly, that was pretty easy. That was very manageable. Even though in my off season, between April and now, I was probably eating closer to 4,000 calories. So it still felt like a pretty big drop. But I've gone from, I started prep at 230 pounds. Mm-hmm. I'm now 203. And that was basically in an 8-week span. I lost almost 30 pounds. And you started?
I started at, I think it was 123.
123, so 10 pounds in 8 weeks, which for a girl, for a woman, that's a lot of weight. So
especially
10 pounds.
At mine. And I mean, honestly, I wasn't I was in pretty good shape and lean whenever we started as well.
Yeah.
Just random sidebar, the app that we use for our macros is the First Form app, and it is just so amazing. I don't even know that you're able to see that, but it has to be the best macro tracking app. So
I'll link it in the description. If you're looking to work with anybody, we coach inside that app, so I'll link the app below, and if you guys want to sign up, we can help monitor your macros and encourage you and all the fun things. So
yeah.
All right.
Okay,
next
back
question.
to questions. Okay. Let's see. What do you want to answer? Okay. We had this question. Somebody commented on our Instagram and commented that, you macro out all your food, you weigh it, you really take care of your body and make sure that what you're putting in your body is really healthy, but then you drink energy drinks. Why would you do that? So I feel like we talked about this back and forth, but the easiest way that I could let it kind of sum up an answer for this is which we say about multiple things in our life, but it's kind of hey, we love Jesus, but we also cuss a little. It's
yeah.
We get a little bit of give and take, but specifically for us in bodybuilding, I even said today, I never, I'm just not a soda drinker. I just never drink soda. Even if he has a soda, I'll take a sip, and then I just don't want anymore. And then being on prep and you can't eat all of this food, I'm crushing diet root beer like it's my job. And it's just so different, but you have to find something to fuel your body and fill up your stomach.
Well, a couple different things. So First of all, there's no actual data or like proven research that shows that artificial sweeteners are like that terrible for you. Like there hasn't been long enough studies on aspartame and sucralose and all these different sweeteners showing cancer, and the stuff that they have done research on was like on rats that were already going to get cancer, that they were giving like 1,000x the dosage, right? So when it comes to weight loss and it comes to nutrition, obviously whole foods, high quality sources, if you can do grass fed, if you can do organic, like all those things, yes, matter to an extent. Like what you put in your body is a big deal. But if you are someone who struggles with losing weight and you drink Coca-Cola, I would much rather see you drink Diet Coke or Coke Zero and eat whole foods than to continue to crush the sugar, because sugar is what's killing our population, right? Carbs aren't bad for you, fats aren't bad for you. Refined processed sugar is what's bad for you. It's what's causing you to be overweight, which is then causing you to have high blood pressure, which is then causing you to have diabetes and all the different things. So if you are going to have a beverage, I personally, as someone who's lost over 150 pounds and who's been in this world now for over 6 years with meal prep and nutrition and all the different things, I'd much rather you have a diet soda or an energy drink than to have all of the sugar. Like the amount of sugar in a Coke is absurd. That being said, everything in moderation is good, right? Water is the best. Water with some sodium, some magnesium, electrolytes, like your body needs that. So however you want to choose to get that in, that's great as well. But people have to stop getting so bent out of shape over like the diet sodas and the energy drinks and stuff like that. If it's helping you and it's pushing you forward in your journey, that's great. Obviously, if you can choose to not have any processed chemicals in your body, that's fantastic, right? But we're not all perfect, and sometimes you need a little stuff. So biggest thing with bodybuilding is, yeah, you're in such a big deficit that the carbonation definitely helps make you feel full. It makes you feel satisfied. And unfortunately, after next week, we'll be pulling all that out anyways. So basically when you're a week out, you pretty much remove all processed sugar, because it does create a little bit of like film of water on your skin that isn't the best for aesthetics. So, but yeah, drink your diet soda. I mean, live a little bit. Jeez, have a pizza.
We can have it now?
No. Next question.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. This question came for you. Mm-hmm. Being a husband, father, and an entrepreneur with a business, how do you find time to do bodybuilding?
That's a great question. So I'm a firm believer that you can't fill every bucket. And so obviously when I'm on prep, there are things that don't get as much attention as they do when I'm off of prep. I feel like this prep, I've done a much better job of like giving my all for our business and making sure that's been going really smooth, traveling a ton, putting in the work for that. I feel like probably the one area that suffered the most in this prep is our marriage, but not in like a bad way, more just like we're not having our normal date nights, we're not doing like the normal things that we do, but that's more of like a choice between both of us, because we don't want to go to a restaurant and not eat anything. Like we still spend quality time together and like do those things, but when you're not on prep, more time and effort goes into like going out and dating and like doing that type of stuff. And then obviously like there's things with our kids that when I'm not on prep, I'm definitely more hands-on or more active or more like engaged in, you know, let's go play or do this. But in the same sense, like we've been doing on family walks with bike rides. We haven't missed a beat. Like we just had their birthday party. So like, I don't know, to me, it's one of those things that, yeah, you're not gonna be perfect in every aspect of life, but you can give your effort as much as you can. And to me, it's like, don't judge yourself against anybody else. Judge yourself against you. And if you're putting in as much effort as you can possibly put in, then that's great. Like, too many people judge themselves against people that they don't even know, and they have no idea what's really going on. So, yes, not every bucket is going to be overflowing and perfect all the time. But I also look at bodybuilding and fitness as a way to inspire my kids, inspire our family, inspire our clients through 212. And to me, it's almost like an extension of my job, right? It helps bring in business. Our story, especially losing over 150 pounds and doing that 99% through eating the product that we make, I think has been huge for our business. And so to me, it's one of those things that kind of coexist. But there's never going to be a perfect time to be on a fitness journey or to lose weight or get in really good shape. You always just have to kind of like ebb and flow. And some days my kids might get super dad, and some days they get tired dad who just needs to go lay down and feels like crap. So some days 212 gets 1,000% me as an entrepreneur who's crushing it, who's out there ready to go. And some days I'm driving up to the event and it's just like everything I can do just to be at the event. So, but at the end of the day, if you show up enough, you'll eventually succeed. So that was a really long answer to that question.
It was, but I thought, even to kind of piggyback, because it wasn't my question, but I was just thinking about some of the things that you were saying, and it's like, yes, I can see where you would say, like,
Keep talking.
like the marriage and like with the kids and like things that might be difficult with bodybuilding, but like even though we weren't taking date nights, I feel like it honestly, like whatever you choose to be, how you are going to have fitness in your life, like that just is your life. Like, yes, we didn't go out and have sushi date night or steak night every Friday night. We connected every day, driving 20 minutes to the gym, and then worked out for an hour and a half, and then we went and got the kids from school, and then we were able to go on a family bike ride with them and like spend time with them. It was very personable. So it's just like, I feel like things just shifted for us.
So you feel like we actually have grown closer?
Yeah, so I was just saying, like, listening to you say, like, the things that you thought, like, didn't make your bucket full, I looked at it differently, and it's like, yeah, we didn't go on a weekly date night, but, like, every day, we literally rode in the car. Now, it wasn't like we were like, oh my gosh, how was your week? It was so good. Like, it was awesome. I was like, I'm dying. I'm so hungry. I don't want to go work out. Like, you know, it was, or half the time it was like you just being like, no, I promise, like, you're going to do fine. You look great. Like, encouraging me. Like, it wasn't this like weird, you know, like nice date night. But in my mind, like how I felt was I have been feeling like, oh, this is so amazing. Like, we're doing something together. And it kind of like gave us this like new connection. And like, we've been together for 17 years.
You need to spice it up a little bit, get real lean.
Evidently. But you know, like, that we've been through a lot. Like, there's been so many different things that we've been through. But how cool that after 17 years of being together and 11 years of marriage, we did something very different, totally outside of our comfort zone, and did it together. Like, I feel there's not many couples that do that. I mean, honestly, couples our age are either thriving or getting a divorce, you know? Like,
True.
Kind of that.
True that. So, moral of the story is, I'm awesome.
Oh, no.
All right, next question.
Okay. I was just going to say, I thought things were great.
Hey, you know, the bucket I thought I wasn't filling enough, I'm just dumping water into it. Boosh.
But I think people shouldn't be like, oh, how do you have time to do that? How do you have time to do that? We all have the same amount of time. We just decided to literally change our life. Our life now is in the evenings after dinner or before dinner. We take the kids on a bike ride and walk, and like that's so we're getting our cardio in. And then instead of like a weekly date night all the time, which I'm still looking forward to get back to that, it's like we're spending time in the car. You know what I'm saying? That's all I was like trying to get to.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, we just do things differently. Like, we don't watch TV. Like, I couldn't tell you the last Netflix show that we watched or movies. Like, we're much more on like, hey, any free time we have is spent on either fitness, or we do watch a lot of YouTube, but that's mainly like while we're doing our cardio. But other than that, like, I feel like most Americans, you know, they come home from work, they hang out with the kids a little bit, and then there's like 3 hours of like, hey, Netflix and chill. And that's just, we just don't do that.
Honestly, that's been like that for years. I feel like we would go to things and we'd be like, oh, have you seen the so-and-so show? And we're like, what? No.
Yeah.
No.
So, anyways.
That's
all right,
just
next
different.
question.
Okay. How is your, speaking of social life, how is your social life during prep?
I would say that even prior to prep, we're not like massive social people. We have like our tight-knit group of friends that we hang out with. But even that, like, we're so busy between owning 212, having 2 kids, their sports, you know, working out, like all the different things that we're not massive like social people. Like, we're not doing something every single week with friends. I feel like in the fall, like later fall, winter, we do more stuff because we camp. And so we'll hang out with friends and we'll go camping and stuff like that. And then, you know, date nights, we'll do half the time. It's just the 2 of us. Half the time we'll go out with another couple. So obviously on prep, that doesn't really happen. We did go out with our coach, Jess, and his wife, Britt, for a refeed. And that was super nice. And we love hanging out with them. They're some of our best friends. So once we get done with prep, I'm sure we'll see them, you know, more on a weekly or bi-monthly. Everyone says bi-weekly. That's not even a thing. That's twice a week.
Yeah, that's twice a week.
But the other thing is, all of our family, my whole family and Lauren's whole family, live in Myrtle Beach, where we're from. And so we literally do stuff with our families every single week. My parents and my brother, Jason, who's my business partner, we all live in the same neighborhood. Every Tuesday night, we go to my parents' house for family dinner. My other 2 brothers come, my other brother's wife and his kids, my youngest brother's girlfriend, whenever she's in town, comes. So we're always together every Tuesday. So that's pretty social. It's not like we're just like hermits living at the house doing nothing. But
yeah, so it doesn't feel like we're not social.
We're not out at the bar though, hanging out.
No.
But I don't think we would be.
I don't think we would be there at all.
I mean, maybe after this prep, I might go to the bar. I might need a little tequila.
Okay. What is your current plan for your post-show meal? So this is kind of fun because we just planned this on the way up here. We were very torn on what to do because we will be in Houston, Texas, but I think we kind of nailed it down.
So we learned a lot from my last show. So my last show, I did 2 shows in April. Show number 1 was summer shredding, which I'll have to say, as someone who's done summer shredding now and someone who's done an NPC show, which is like the normal bodybuilding league, summer shredding's got it going on. Like, they were super like time efficient. We were done at a very good time. Like, I feel like we were done by like 4 or 5
I think it was
p.m.
like 4. Yeah.
And the show that I did the week after was an NPC show, and it was a bigger show and it was a pro show as well. So I understand that they have a lot of stuff going on, but like, I didn't even get off stage at that show until almost 9 o'clock. Like, it was absolutely miserable. And as someone who had never been a part of those type of shows before, I just learned a lot. Like, we wanted to celebrate.
Coach Jess, thank you. You tried to tell us.
Yeah, he tried to tell us, but we didn't want to listen. We just wanted to celebrate. We were in Charlotte.
Kids were
one
there.
of my favorite restaurants is actually in Fort Mill, where we're filming this video. And Lauren did such a good job. She made a reservation, had a cake made. It was like a whole thing, rented a whole room. And we literally didn't get to dinner until like 10:45. The kitchen closed at 11, so we pre-ordered all the food. The food was cold. So it was just not a great night to celebrate. And so
we learned a lot.
We really decided for Houston that we were just going to kind of be super low key and like enjoy our food after the show's, you know, popping circumstance is over. And so Saturday night, depending on what Lauren does, if she qualifies for Sunday, then obviously she'll probably eat like a pretty clean meal. If for some insane reason she doesn't, I'm sure Jess will say, hey, let's have some sort of celebratory meal. Sandwich. She wants a sub. But Sunday night, after the championship, I think that we've got 2 options. One is a Cheesecake Factory, just because it's easy. They've got like a million options. Everyone can be satisfied. And we are going to be in Texas. The 2 things that we really want is Texas barbecue and Tex-Mex. Yes. We haven't had Mexican food in forever. It's literally her favorite food.
It is my favorite food ever.
I'm like kind of hit or miss. Like, sometimes Mexican sounds fantastic, and sometimes I'm like, eh. But right now, Mexican sounds great. So she found a really cool looking Mexican spot or Tex-Mex spot.
And like tequila bar, it looks cool.
So I could see us probably doing that over Cheesecake Factory just because it's like Cheesecake Factory's everywhere. But honestly, I'm more excited for Monday morning. We're going to a place called Toast that is like a crazy looking brunch spot that has like insane like pancakes and French toast and donuts and all that stuff. So I already said that I'm going to get probably like a pretty healthy omelet for some high protein. And then I'm definitely getting a donut and some crazy pancakes to try. So
I was trying to like find the picture of like the.
Yeah.
Look at that. Like they're like cronuts.
They look great.
It looks amazing.
So do you want to add anything to that?
Fruity Pebbles.
This video is going to be an hour
Okay,
long.
I'm sorry. So, no, I'm super, I do like want a sub. I initially was like, I told Jeffrey, I was like, why do these people want like these like brownies and cookies? Like, why are these girls like in bikinis and like they just finished their show and then they eat these like sweet things? I'm like, I will never want to be like that. And then the last couple weeks of prep, I'm like, oh gosh, that does sound yummy just because you like deplete so much. But I still am like pretty stuck with, I really want like a Jimmy John's sub or like a Jersey Mike sub. I don't know why.
And I'm definitely going to get pizza. We're also going camping the following weekend.
We're going to get plenty of food.
Definitely planning on eating some good food then. So yeah, there's plenty of time to eat, but yeah. Food after a show is always a big deal. I'm trying to make it less of a big deal after this show because I really don't want to have a crazy blow up rebound.
Yes, and that's kind of what I'm really focusing on now is just like allowing myself to enjoy food for a couple of days, but then also like get back on it. Yeah. So, like you said, this is going to be a 4-hour video.
Well, no, but
okay.
We're getting to the end anyways.
Okay, what food, to piggyback on food, what foods have you craved the most on prep? Well, I think we just talked about those, honestly.
Yeah, pizza, and then obviously I want some donuts. I love Parlor donuts, but yeah.
Okay, hang on. I have questions on Instagram. Let me go back. What has this taught you about your spouse that you didn't know before this process?
Absolutely nothing. I absolutely adore my wife, but this is exactly how I expected it to be. It's like prepping with a child, okay? She is my third child, fourth if you count our dog. I've basically been prepping for 2 people, if we're being honest. But mentally, emotionally, physically, making the food, all the things. But it's been great.
Wow. Hey. It's very true.
Hey, you know, call it like I see it. She gets, put it this way, I knew that the hangry thing was going to be a problem, so.
Listen, I feel like this whole, even, you knew what you were getting into.
Yeah, I got to check the camera.
Like 1,000%, right?
Oh, yeah.
We knew, okay. Here's the thing. I got into all of this, like, here's why I'm at the...
So, yeah, what did you learn about me?
Here's what I learned. You don't elaborate or share your feelings when you're going through something really hard. So, I'm, like, watching Jeffrey go through this prep and this bodybuilding and get this wild and crazy hair about March, about a couple of weeks before he goes to his show. And I'm like, man, seeing him do this kind of makes me want to do it. Maybe I should do this. Like, it looks hard, but challenging enough. Like, I think I should do it. And then there have been so many times in the past few weeks where I'm like, why didn't you tell me this was going to be so hard? Why didn't you complain a little bit more? Why didn't you? And he's like, I don't know. I just kind of pushed through. And I'm like, I totally wouldn't have done this. So I actually already knew that about you, but I think it just showed me even more that I was just like, holy crap, like you do not verbalize your internal feelings.
Well, it's kind of my superpower. Like my superpower is I can just dig down and go to a dark place and compartmentalize things very, very well. Like I can take pretty much any stress and put it into a box and then figure out a way to just push through. So
and never like let anybody else know. And like, oh, here, let me make your dinner for you, even though I'm starving as all get out.
Pretty much.
Yeah, you are.
There you
go. Okay. What's been your peak and valley moments this far on prep? That's a good question. I can kind of talk about mine. So my valley, I don't know if I've reached my peak yet, but my valley was definitely probably like a week ago, was the prior video. I don't know if this is going to be in the same timeline, but my posing journey, and this may play into like a part that's hard for me, but I feel like working out and dieting has been something that I've done for a while now. So that to me came pretty easy. What was so different for me is the bikini posing. And if you haven't seen the video, I am not, obviously I'm literally sitting here with like no makeup on. We just took showers. Like I'm girly, obviously, but I'm not like overly like, not a lot of makeup. Like I'm not really like in high heels all the time. And like, I like to wear workout clothes and go to the gym. And to me, bodybuilding is like this, basically, if I could like sum it up, it's like a beauty pageant for people that go to the gym, right? I mean, kind of essentially, if you're like breaking it down, it's a beauty pageant for people that like to work out. So that to me is just like way out of my league. So I just like had this moment where I just got in my head and just felt like I didn't know what I was doing, and I've signed up for something, and then honestly, I kind of feel like maybe this is kind of my peak, but I feel like this past week, I just kind of like looked back at where I'd started from 2 years ago when I watched Jeffrey do 75 hard. And basically I remember him like going to the gym, and I was like, I really should be going back to the gym. I've always kind of had some sort of fitness in my life, but at that time wasn't working out. And so I really had been struggling with just some negative thoughts and feelings, and kind of like felt comfortable like sharing that with him. And it was at that point that he kind of gave me the hard truth of like, you just need to get to the gym. And so of course that kind of spiraled and all the things, and now I'm doing a bodybuilding show. But it was like I just kind of like had this moment to like look back and realize like you have to start somewhere. Just like when I started going back to the gym that I was going to, like I just had to literally say, okay, I'm going to go today. And then I just kept going the next day and the next day. And if you would have told me back then, like, oh yeah, eventually you're going to be standing on stage in a basically like a thong, and you know, like doing bodybuilding.
They gonna see your butt?
I would be like,
oh my gosh.
I would be like, there's no way. And so I just like had this, while I had my peak or my valley last week, I feel like my peak this week was just like realizing and appreciating how far I've come. And also like just kind of seeing my body like transform in like legit 10 weeks of bodybuilding. So yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing too, to give her a little more credit, it's like we hired Jordan Lee, who is by far the best.
She's the best poser there is
in the pro league when it comes to posing, if not the best bikini athlete. I mean, I honestly think that she could win the Olympia this year. And if not, she's going to be at least top 5. So
and we're going to be there cheering you on, girl.
So to me, it's like, you also got to remember, like, your posing coach is literally one of the best in the world at what she does. And she's hard on you because she sees how much potential you have. So I think that's one of those things. It's like, it's very easy to have valleys when you feel like you don't know what you're doing. But it's also like, most people who do their first show ever aren't hiring Jordan Lee as their posing coach, because most of them wouldn't even know how to get a hold of her. Luckily, she's friends with our coach, Jess, and so he put us in contact with her, and she's been amazing. But at the same sense, it's like you're literally dealing with someone who coaches other people who go to the Olympia, which is the highest stage of bodybuilding. So don't be too hard on yourself because you've been doing great. But all right, so as far as my peaks and valleys, I would say that number one, I absolutely hate losing more than I love winning. And so I guess my valley is just the mental stress that I'm putting on myself to win. And I feel like I'll look at my physique sometimes, and sometimes I'm blown away at how far I've come in the last 2 years. And sometimes I'm just like, man, I'm not even close to where I need to be to win this show. And so that's something I definitely struggle with, but it's like anything, you know, you can't cheat time. And most people who have been doing bodybuilding, who have crazy physiques, have been working out consistently for 5, 10, 15, 20 plus years. And so it's just one of those things. So I would say as far as my peak goes, obviously looking at how far I've come, even since April, the changes have been dramatic. Like I've put on way more size. I'm way leaner at a higher weight, which is always what you want when you're doing bodybuilding, because you want to be bigger and leaner. And then hopefully the ultimate peak is 2 weeks from now on Sunday, holding up that trophy. And if for some crazy reason I can't pull it off, then y'all better watch out for 2024, because I'm coming back with vengeance. But we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it this time.
Yes, for sure. So. You're totally gonna do it now.
All right. What are the last few questions?
So 2 more questions. So first of the 2 last questions is, what is one good thing that you are looking forward to post show? Like, what are you kind of like looking forward to?
I would say that there's a couple things. One, obviously looking forward to food. So eating more food, not even just like crazy, like bad for you food. Obviously there will be some of that, but
just take more oats.
Just, yeah, more food. So like instead of only getting 40 grams of oats, like I'd love 80 or 100 grams.
And like 100 grams of blueberries.
But besides the food part, I'm extremely excited about going camping. So we're going camping the weekend we get back from the show. So that'll be fun, just to have some like quality time with our kids, where we're not like stressed out about food and we got to get cardio and all this stuff in. We're going with Lauren's family, my family, our really good friends, the Jacksons that have 3 boys, and our kids and their kids like love each other. It's also Halloween weekend at the campground that we're going to, and they put on like this massive, like, you know, all the campers have trick-or-treating, and it's just a great time. And then the following week, I'm super excited because Lauren and I are going to the Olympia with Coach Jess and his wife Britt. Lauren's posing coach Jordan Lee is competing at the Olympia, so we're going to cheer her on.
And I get to meet her in person.
So that's gonna be really fun. Obviously we have a 0.0000% relationship with Chris Bumstead and Courtney King because we met them in Tampa, and we talked to Courtney for like an hour, and she was so nice and lovely.
She was so nice.
I feel like we're best friends.
For sure.
So we're going to support Chris, and then the whole Alpha Elite team will be there, Christian and Heidi and all those people. And
this
so
will be a lot of fun.
Hopefully I am the champion and will be sponsored by them and hopefully Raw Nutrition. So hoping to get to hang out with all those people and kind of make some connections. But yeah, super excited for that trip. It's just a short trip. We're going down Thursday to Sunday. But that one I'm really excited for. One, because I've always wanted to go to the Olympia since I started doing bodybuilding. This year for men's physique is literally insane. Jeremy Buendia is coming back after like 5 years of being gone. You got Aaron Banks trying to defend his title. You got a lot of big names that are qualified. Corey Morris. There's just so many like good people. I think it's going to be super interesting. I think that Chris is going to pull out the number 5, which I think will be insane to be there and watch live. And then there's a lot of great guys in the open class that I'm excited about. And then obviously excited to see Jordan compete in bikini. So, and we've already planned out some like good food and some workouts and stuff like that. So super excited about that. Yeah. I think I probably just stole all the things that you were going to say.
Yeah, basically ditto. But I think mine's more of just like routine wise. I think one good thing that I'm looking forward to is like coming back to like find my healthy balance for a little bit. And just getting back to where I'm able to work out as hard as I like to work out with bodybuilding. but feeling fueled. So honestly, I kind of like just want to get back to like maybe like 4 weeks into prep.
Yeah.
Where I like feel like I'm eating enough food for the amount that I'm training, because that we talked about on the way up, like that's not really going to go away for either of us. Like this kind of plays into like what are our plans for post show, like what are our next steps. And I think for me, like one of the questions Jeffrey asked me on the way up was, do you see yourself doing another show? And I was like, well, I don't feel like I can actually say yes or no yet, because I haven't actually like completed the show. And I just think like, while I've loved the process up to now and like prior to the show, I've loved that. I feel like this show is just such a big part of it as well. Did you feel like it was all worth it? Did you like that? So I feel like once the show's over, I'll be able to kind of say, am I gonna do this? I can definitely say, and it's funny because I never thought I would say this. And I actually just recently like switched my gym up. Like I actually officially like canceled with my other gym to stop doing HIIT workouts, because now like I love the bodybuilding workout. Like I've been able to see like with my coach, oh, I want to work on this part of my body, or I want to, you know, build my shoulders. And then literally like okay, let's focus on that. Here's the exercises you do. And one of the things that kind of annoyed me when I first started with them at the gym is I literally said, I was like, this is Groundhog Day. Like, this is so boring. I was so used to a workout style where I went in and on the board every day was something different. And it was a lot of burpees and pull-ups and just this very like HIIT workout. And it is fun and it's mindless. The switching to a bodybuilding, and it's literally like, okay, which is still funny because I still go in and ask Jess. He's probably like, can you not remember the workout? But I'll go in and I'm like, okay, what's today? He's like, glute. You're going to go do the glute kickback, and then you're going to go do the hamstring curls. And like, it's literally Groundhog Day, but I have fallen in love with it because it is so finite on, you know, you want to grow this body part, you do it, you put in the work, and you do repetitive movements, and then boom, you literally get results. And I'm kind of like addicted. I kind of like the like grungy gym that we go to, and I don't know, there's just
shout out Pump House. Hey, we love it there.
Yeah. It's just, you know, it's very different. It's not flashy. It's not this. I just I kind of like it. So while I can't say yet if I will do a show again or not, I can already tell that I'm going to be done with prep and I'm going to miss this season of showing up every single day for myself and doing something really hard. This is the hardest thing I have ever done. I never did 75 hard. I never had a crazy weight loss journey. I have lost a lot of weight. I mean, over the past, I have in one point in my life was, you know, like 170, 180 pounds. I mean, I've had a weight loss journey. Even looking back on our app, I realized it was a year ago, I was 133 pounds, which I was still fit then. And I'm, you know, obviously just to a different level of lean now. But even within a year, I mean, I've lost over 15 pounds. So there is some sort of like weight loss journey. But I think for me, like health and fitness is just always a part of what I'm going to do. So it's just kind of figuring out what am I going to be doing? So for me, so far for post show is I'm just going to be continuing with our coach. And I'm going to plan on trying to grow my glutes. So that will mean,
big booty.
I gotta get booty. So that will mean probably eating in a surplus for a little bit, which will be nice because I've been in a deficit for a very long time. And so, yeah, that's kind of what I plan.
So what's the question? What's our plan?
I don't know. I think I lost myself. Yes. What are your post-show plans?
My post-show plans. So a lot depends on the outcome of Houston. Either way, my plan is to compete next year. It just depends on what show that I'll be competing at. In a perfect world, I will win the championship. And then next year, or post-show plans, will be to probably do like what's called a health phase. So basically from the time we get off stage until like probably January 1st, really just focus on like eating whole foods, like slowly tapering up my calories, like being in the gym, but like not killing myself, like basically getting my body back to normal, getting my hormones back to a good level, just all those different things. Basically making sure like you focus on health, not just bodybuilding. And then come January, we'd start what's considered like an off season or like a growing phase, where the goal will then be to put on weight and to eat in a surplus and to gain as much muscle mass as possible. And then probably shoot for a show in August. So basically from January 1st until probably like May 1st, grow, and then May, June, July, hopefully the show, I don't know, I haven't even looked yet, but sometime early mid-August would do the show. So we'd want at least, like a 3-month prep. So basically all summer be shredding down, and basically winter, spring be growing. So that's kind of my post-show plans. Obviously, if I don't come in first place, I'll be very sad. And then the plan would probably be to compete in summer shredding again, because with transformation, you actually have 3 years to use your before picture. And my before picture is actually, as of today, only 2 years old. So today that we're filming this was when I actually started my fitness journey, October 6th of 2021. So technically that picture would be good until October of 2024. So obviously I could do a lot of damage in a year as far as growing my physique and getting in even better shape, because every prep that you do, you just get better and better. So that's the plan. Any other questions?
No, thank y'all so much for all the questions. They were really good.
That's it. So obviously also too, look at my quad in that camera. Holy moly.
Wow, there's good lighting in here.
Is it the lighting?
I mean, your quad looks great.
I thought it was just my muscles.
Yeah, it's definitely
too bad they
muscles.
don't judge me on my legs. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. This is probably like an hour-long video, and
if you made it this far, we appreciate
it is what it is. So hopefully you enjoyed a little behind the scenes and insight into our world. And I don't know, we'll see how this does. If it does well, maybe we'll do this more often, because it was kind of fun sitting here talking to the camera. So have a great night. We'll see you guys soon. Tomorrow, officially 2 weeks out. When you guys are watching this, we'll be under 2 weeks out, and it's time to push. So have a good night, and cheers.